What is going on, guys? My name is Richard, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the hottest stock on the market, GRWG or GrowGeneration Corp, which is my stock of the week. And in this video, which is sponsored by Marketsmith, we'll be going in depth into the story, the fundamental numbers, and of course the technicals, so you can be prepared to trade or invest into this company. And at this time, it is definitely extended, way too extended for either a swing or position trade, and it's showing a lot of power after a blowout earnings report with a ton of volume coming in, and we'll definitely get into that when we talk about the technicals later on in the video. But first things first, I want to go over to their website and a few different articles and discuss what this company actually does. And if you do enjoy my analysis, please go ahead and leave a like down below. It really does help me out and my channel. And of course, if you are new and have not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that as well if you want to see more videos just like this one every single week. And with that said, let's go on over to their website. And just from the frame of this video, which will be linked below, you can probably get a sense of what industry this company operates in. And basically, they are the country's largest supplier for hydroponic equipment, so hydroponics, nutrients, and different things that you can use to grow plants, specifically marijuana. And on their website, they also talk about their knowledge base, so kind of what they bring to the table in terms of helping grow these plants. And they have information on water quality, lighting, environmental requirements, all those different things. And overall, this company basically helps commercial, harvesting, and greenhouse design, specifically in the marijuana business. And they also have a link to this CNBC article right here. And the title is GrowGeneration CEO says cannabis business is booming after company ups guidance. And the key points are right here. They saw a 50% increase in walk-in business quarter over quarter. And they also raised their guidance to 175 million from 130 million, which is a quite substantial bump, especially for a company their size. And they also say that they're in the early stage of a multi-billion-dollar industry, so they believe they have a high total addressable market. And reading through the article, they discuss how they currently have 28 stores in 10 states, and they plan to increase that to 50 locations in 15 states by the end of 2021. And this is quite ambitious and definitely would boost their revenue a whole bunch, especially because this is a high growth area, because in the next coming years, decades, more and more states will open up to legalizing marijuana. And also, of course, if the federal ban gets lifted, that would cause some huge growth as well. And overall, I think that this company is kind of the best way to play an investment into this space because it's safer than investing directly into CGC or ACB because they have to deal with the financial uncertainty and all those tax regulations and all of that. And this company only has to focus on supplying these materials and also tools. So overall, that is the story of this company. And overall, they kind of have the first to market advantage, which is very, very big. So with that said, let's go on over to their numbers in Marketsmith. And looking down here at the earnings and sales reports, you can see for the past 4 quarters, they've got over 100% revenue growth. And that really reminds me of some top stocks like LVGO. And last quarter, they also were profitable. You can see earnings were up 100%, sales up 123%, and after-tax margins up 5.9%. And looking at the annual estimates, you can see in 2020, they're supposed to grow 160%, and in 2021, 138% on top of that. So really incredible growth, and revisions are up as well. And overall, the EPS rating is a 38, the Group RS is a C+, the SMA rating is a C, accumulation distribution is an A, and the overall composite rating is an 87. And taking a look at the fund ownership, you can see a big jump the past few quarters. And once again, this does remind me of LVGO. Just as it was getting started, you saw a big jump early in their run. And taking a look at the chart, you can see that the RS rating is a very strong 99. The RS line is basically going vertical at this time. And as I said previously, it's definitely well extended at this point and it's too late to enter on this earnings gap up. So you have to wait for consolidation and for it to build out another base, a high tight flag potentially, and we'll get into that in just a second. But going over to the weekly chart, there's a few more fundamentals I like to look at. The up-down volume ratio is a very strong 3.7. The return on equity is only a 4%, and I like to see 15% and above. But overall, no stock is perfect, and you can definitely forgive that given the huge growth numbers going back the past few years. And taking a look at this weekly chart, you can see it just moved out of a stage 1 consolidation with a pivot all the way back at 7.82. And looking at the volume, you can see it's up 1,841%. This is a huge clue that institutions are trying to get into this stock. And look at the closing range on this week so far. It's currently Wednesday. It's very strong, right near the high of the trading range. Very good sign. And to discuss the technicals a little bit more, let's go on over to TC2000, and we're currently looking at a weekly chart. And you can see that GRWG IPO'd in late 2016 and had a nice run towards the end of 2017, going all the way up to $20 a share. So this is the green line price, and let's actually show the drawings right here. And overall, it's good to see that it had a prior run, but I don't like to see that it dropped so quickly and couldn't hold this price and form a base. And this drop was probably corresponding to some regulation changes and some overall weakness in other weed stocks like ACB. You saw this drop right here, and also in CGC, which actually looked decent, but did have this drop starting around the same time. And overall, going back to GRWG, you can see it basically went all the way down to sub $5 and was dormant for a long time before this run right here. And if we go over to this chart right here, which has the 10 and 30 simple moving averages, you can see that this stock started a stage 2 uptrend above an increasing 30-week moving average all the way back in May of this year. And then it moved up, formed a short-term consolidation that we saw in Marketsmith, and then continued to rise above the 10-week moving average. So at this time, it's above an increasing 10 and 30-week moving average. So it's in a yellow band pattern, which if you want to know a little bit more about, I'll have a link above to a video I made about that topic. But really, all you need to know is that it's currently above the 10 SMA and 30 SMA on the weekly, so it's in a long-term uptrend. And what I like to do is find short-term pauses and consolidations within a longer-term uptrend, and then I enter when it breaks through that on volume. So now that we know it's in a long-term uptrend, we can go back to a daily chart and talk about technical setups. And going back a few days, you can see that the first kind of viable opportunity was at a break of the pivot at 7.82, although you do have a shakeout right here, but this was the true breakout on volume, and it was also a green dot. And then the stock advanced a few days and formed a short-term consolidation before the earnings breakout. And zooming in, you can see that after the earnings breakout, it had a nice fallen day. And I did try a quick swing trade, although I got stopped out on this day. That happens. I took a small loss. I was dealing with a much smaller position size because I knew it was higher risk. But it's always a good sign to see that the stock has multiple days up after that earnings report. You don't want to see it fall right back into the base. And instead, it had another nice up day on volume, signifying that funds were not done buying this stock. And that buying definitely continued the next few days, all the way up until today. And I actually did try another swing trade on this past Tuesday, which was much more successful. I think I got a 12% gain overall. And if we go intraday, you can see that it broke a downward trend line right here. And I was buying right on this green dot after the reversal. And I had a nice gain going into today, sold it a little bit early, right at the green line. And today you can see it had a green line breakout closing above the previous green line, which is the all-time high set all the way back in 2017. So what I'm looking for now after this powerful move upwards is for some consolidation, maybe a high tight flag setup because it has increased more than 100% over the past 2 months. And I want to see it base out a bit before forming a kind of pivot at this high. And then I want to see it break out above that on above average volume. And let's actually go to CELH, which is a good example of this. It formed a nice high tight flag pattern, moving up strongly over 2 months. And then you can see it consolidated a bit and then formed a downward trend line and then broke out once again this week. So I think after a powerful move with a lot of volume like GRWG has had, along with Jim Cramer talking it up on his show, there's a high likelihood that this stock is going higher. But that doesn't mean you just buy it whenever. You have to wait for a nice low risk, high reward entry. And for me, what I'm looking for is a high tight flag or potentially a shelf or flat base if it extends a little bit longer. So overall, great fundamentals and technicals for GRWG. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys in future videos.